I think we're live. Let me just check. Oh, what? Hold on. All right, I think we're live. Hey, how's it going, guys? We currently have 0 viewers, but you know what? I know that's going to change pretty quickly, but anyway, today is a special day. It is St. Patrick's Day. And I don't know. I didn't know what to do with it. I've not even had a Shamrock Shake yet. I haven't even had a Shamrock Shake all year yet, so that's shocking because I usually get on those like wildfire. But you know what? We're just gonna do another live stream. So what's up, guys? I'm MegaManChiefFan here, and oh my goodness, my face is dark. Hold on. Is it better now? Yeah, it's better when I open up Google Chrome. I have no idea why, but anyway. What is up, guys? MegaManChiefFan here. Welcome back to another live stream. And I'm just waiting for. I just gotta set a few things up, and we will be on a roll. So, yeah. So it may be a little quiet for the next couple minutes, but you know that's just how things go sometimes. Just gotta get a few things set up. Oh, there's one list that's really great. I'm trying to open up the new releases in 2017 because I want to go through a massive list of that. In books of 2017, there was like one amazing list. Here it is, the ultimate list. Really? We still have no viewers. Oh, I swear, like last time it was like viewers kept going on and off, on and off. But maybe that's just me being picky. Let's see. You know what? No, I'm just going to get started. Oh, I gotta sit down. I was kneeling for the majority. Hi, Iron Woman. How you doing? How you doing? Thanks for coming on the live stream. And things just got started. I was just about to start out. I was just setting up, so you just haven't missed anything so far. So with that, I'm gonna get started. We have a few things that I want to talk about, which i.e. this stack of books, because I went to the library once again, and I actually was there for like hours last time. I was there for hours. So yeah, that's just how I was. I was just sitting there. I was browsing for half the time, and I was reading for half the time, which is like the greatest feeling on earth. If you haven't read in a library, then I don't know what you're doing. You should really. I'm good, thank you. Well, thanks for joining the stream. But anyway, first up, I'm going to talk about the 2 books I'm going to be planning on reading today after I finish this live stream. The first one is Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. I tried to read this book before, but I just wasn't in the mood for it. And also, I was reading a much more famous book when I was trying this out. I was going to read Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk, but even though I ended up not liking that book at all. This one sounded interesting, and I knew I just wasn't in the right set of mind for it. I've heard things about it overall, but I've heard but from people that I trust, I've heard this series is actually pretty good. So, yeah, this is the first book. It's really short, so you know, I could probably fly through this in like a couple hours. So, yeah. And then another book is one of the books I got yesterday from the library. It's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and it is Ironweed by William Kennedy. people kept saying I wouldn't like this book, but I read the first chapter of this book and really enjoyed what I read. It's dark and depressing, but it just was good, and hopefully the whole book is like that, because it's just I've heard it's just absolutely phenomenal. But some people say it's but at the same time, the people who love it. So hopefully, like, there's a blurb from like Sawbello and other people, like magazines and newspapers. So hopefully I like this. And then this next book I'm going to read afterwards. I'm also going to throw in the books that I showed earlier. Like, I have World Without End and Long Way to a Small Angry Planet over there. But it's just I don't have time. I've talked about those two in my 2 other streams this week, so that's just me. But I am going to briefly talk about Forbidden Colors by Yukio Mishima, even though I know I talked about this in one of my last streams. I did not know that this was serialized. I think this was serialized. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this novel was serialized like Dickens style. So if that's awesome. If it was, you guys know how much I absolutely adore Yukio Mishima. It's my life journey to read everything the man wrote. So, and even though there's like half of his books are translated into English, there's like a whole ton that have not been translated in English, including one of his masterpieces, Kyoko's House, that, like, if anybody gets that translated into English, I will drop what I'm doing and read that. There's only 2 things I drop in. There's only 3 things I would do to, like, drop everything and read: a new Jeffrey Eugenides book, a new Donna Tartt book, and a new translation and a newly translated book from Yukio Mishima. Those are the only books I'd absolutely drop everything to read. So, but Forbidden Colors, I think it's this or Runaway Horses are the longest books that they have read so far. Like I keep saying, I'm not the best live, but this is one of the books that have like, people keep saying, "Oh my God, this is so amazing," and I just never got around to it. But now I'm finally going to get around to it. It's like I kept saying, it's one of Mishima's longest works that has been translated into English. So yeah, that went on way too long. Much longer than it should have. But the next 3 are books that I got from the library, and I purposely got short books because I didn't want to bombard myself with yet another book. I was thinking of giving Hanayana Gahara's A Little Life another try, but you know what? I just thought, you heard horrible things about it. Don't even waste your time. You didn't like what you read, which was like 30 pages a long time ago. But I didn't like what I read of that book, so I dropped it. But what I got instead was this: To Live by Yu Hua. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But my nose is itchy. To Live. This is about like some like aristocrat who becomes like a farmer because he like blew all his family's wealth, or like all the wealth that he had. So it sounds really interesting. I've heard really good things about this, and yeah. So and if it doesn't turn out to be that good, which I heard it is great, it's why does my nose keep itching? But Chinese literature has just been, like, Asian literature in general has been really attaching to me lately, and what I've read of Chinese literature, i.e. not much. I read Hajin, and that's pretty much it so far, unless if I can remember somebody else. I've really enjoyed, but I loved Waiting by Hajin. So hopefully this is just as good. I've heard it's even better. It has like such amazing ratings on Goodreads. So yeah. I thought my phone was ringing for a second. The next book is a memoir, I think. Yeah, memoir. And it's called The Woman Warrior by Maxine Hong Kingston. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I know nothing about this book. I know absolutely nothing about this book. Oh, we have a question from Iron Woman. What are the worst books you have read that were recommended to you? Ulysses by James Joyce. Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. And The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern. Those are the 3. Those may be the 3 worst books I've read of last year. I absolutely hated all of them. Those are the 3 that If I had to choose 3 books that I hated the most last year, it was that, because all 3 of these books have the same problem. It's all style over substance. And oh my goodness, I could go on about that. But Woman Warrior, I know nothing about, and all I know is that it's a memoir. It's supposed to be a real depressing memoir, so yeah. And then the final book is from the New York Review of Books, which is a really famous publisher. They publish like underground classics. And the first book that I read from them was just kind of eh. I read Stoner by John Williams, and I've not even heard that was the best John Williams book, but I'm wanting to read Butcher's Crossing, which is supposed to be even better. So, but this is A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. This is a tiny, tiny thing. It's not even like I think it's like 130 pages, if that. Yeah, it's like 135 pages. So this is easily one I could get it through in one sitting. I could get through this in less than an hour easily, if not less than 45 minutes. It's supposed to be fantastic, though. It's supposed to be one of the greatest novellas of all time, if not. Oh, is this a novella or a short novel? I'm guessing novella because the text is real big, but this is supposed to be fantastic. And then, now that I went through the wad of books that I got from the library, because like a lot of them I really didn't like. Like the book I tried today in the morning was Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, and I did not like what I read at all. So what I've decided to do is pull out 5 books that I have from my what's it called, like my bookshelf, and I'm going to read some of these. So with that out of the way, the first one that I have is a classic, well, kind of a classic. It was released, not really. In fact, it's just an author who wrote a classic. And that's Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Sower. I was really wanting to read this book, but then I went on that gem of a library haul that I went on last weekend, and I kind of set this one behind, but I've heard amazing things about it. I loved Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. I thought that was one of the best books that I read all year so far. So, like, it's easily my top 10 favorite books of this year. But Octavia E. Butler is just so unique with her writing style, so unique with her characters. She's perfect in terms of true diversity, because I feel like a problem with a lot of books is that they expect to just like throw in a like certain type of character, and they expect you to be diverse, but you really have to explore the culture of that of the diverse character to really be truly diverse, in my opinion. Now, there's an aspect of having you have to have that character, and I know I understand that, but at the same time, you also have to explore that new culture that the character presents instead of just slapping it in there. But that's just me, though. So with that, Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Sower, I've heard this is fantastic, and I cannot wait to read it. Hold on, just gotta move a few things. All right, the next book is Philip Roth's American Pastoral. This is Philip Roth's first book in his America trilogy, whatever this thing is called. I don't know what this series is called, but he's famous for this trilogy that starts with this book and another book called The Plot Against America, which is kind of like this weird dystopian novel. And Philip Roth recently retired from writing, and his books are said to be fantastic. This is another Pulitzer Prize winner, and I cannot wait to get into it. All right, the next book that I talked about in a stream, so I'm not going to go into any further, is Runaway by Alice Munro. This is a very famous short story collection. Alice Munro is one of the greatest short story writers of all time, and I can't wait to get into this because this is supposed to be absolutely fantastic. And then another book that I got relatively recently is Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh in this gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous Everyman's edition. And I got this for $2. I'm so proud of myself. Thank you very much. But Brideshead Revisited is a book it's about college life. And if you know me, my favorite book of all time is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which is set in college. I've heard I wouldn't lie. I'd be lying if I said, oh, I've heard about loads of people comparing this one with The Secret History. This is very different. I think this is at least less depressing. I think it's I think it's a serious novel, but at the same time, there's aspects of comedy in here. I'm not entirely sure. I've never read Evelyn Waugh in my life, but Evelyn Waugh, I've heard phenomenal things about this man, and this is said to be his masterpiece. So I can't wait. It sounds awesome. And then the final book. Oh, do you have any nonfiction favorites? I loved The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. There's some of my favorite memoirs like The Glass Castle and Angela's Ashes. What else? What's another? There's one other huge one that I'm missing. I really liked Fast Food Nation by Eric Schwolzer or whatever his name is. But those are just a few of my favorites. But the final book that I have is the Stephen King hardcover, Hearts in Atlantis. I've heard loads of great things about this. This is supposed to be one of Stephen King's better novels, or it's not a novel. I don't know what this thing is. It may be something like Different Seasons, where it's like 4 novellas, but it's all like in the same like town or something like that. It like spans across decades. I have no idea what this book is about. It's a book. That's all I have to say. It's a Stephen King book, so I don't know what to expect. I have such a runny nose. I'm sorry if I sound a little nasally and I'm not as energetic as usual, because I'm not sick, and I know I'm not going to be sick because whatever it is, it was better than yesterday. But at the same time, my throat's kind of scratchy and I have kind of a stuffy nose. So sorry if I have So I apologize right now if I sound different and am not as bouncing against the walls as I usually am, even though I do have a bit of my energy. So tell me, which one of these do you want me to read in the pile? That's what I was meaning to say. So after I get through these books right here, which one do you want? I.e. Iron Woman. You get to choose. Parable of the Sower, American Pastoral, Runaway, Brideshead Revisited, or Hearts in Atlantis. Which one would you like? Which one would you like to see? I don't know. All the pressure's going down to you. Ooh. But yeah, those are the books that I'm going to be reading, and I'll put a vote on. So yeah. So now what I plan on for the rest of the stream is to talk about some of the new releases that are coming out in 2017, which 2017 I at first thought was going to be a weaker year in terms of new releases, but I've heard so far, I haven't read many new releases in 2017 so far, but I've heard what's come out in the past 2.5 months have been phenomenal. I've heard they've been absolutely phenomenal. I'm opening up Amazon right now because that book list was just way too confusing for me. I don't have time for the book list. But yeah. Let's see. And last 90 days. No, coming soon. Coming soon. That's what I want. Ooh, does anybody know? Please read Runaway. I have. Oh, Runaway. All right. We're going to read Runaway by Alice Munro. So I'll put that up right there. The Glass Castle is on my bookshelf. Why did you like it? Because it's a family story. Normally, there's loads of nonfiction out there that just try to throw facts at you and try to throw as much depression as possible in terms of memoir. But The Glass Castle, while it gets really depressing in some points, it is ultimately a family story. And that's what I appreciate about it, because it's not just like depression upon depression. It is a family story, and that's what I love about it. So, yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna look at the literary fiction coming soon, and ooh, Lisa C's coming out with a new book. I read the Secret Fan and Snowflower and the Secret Fan, whatever that book was. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I think I'd love some of her other works instead. Paula Hawkins' new book. I don't know if I'd like that because I haven't read Girl on the Train, and I've heard pretty bad things about Girl on the Train lately. So whatever. Elizabeth Strout, I should probably read her first before I get into Anything is Possible. Frederick Bachman, ugh! I'm sorry, I do not like Frederick Bachman at all. I think he's very cheesy, and all his books seem like the same thing. Like A Man Called Ove, that book what I read of that book bored me to tears. Like, I swear, it was just boring. Okay, we have Woman in the Castle. I don't know. Who is this author? Jessica. Oh, it's a debut novel, I'm guessing. No? Well, I've never heard of that author. Men Without Women, stories by Haruki Murakami. Gonna definitely check that out. I'm not gonna buy it because I love Murakami, don't get me wrong, but his short stories never grasp me as much as his novels, so I'm probably just gonna get that from the library, but I'm definitely gonna read that. Well, look who decides to get into paperback. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I actually didn't like that book that much. But it's good that they're finally releasing it in paperback. And woo! That is a beautiful edition of a 1984. There's like an eye on it, and in the pupil it's 1984. That's gorgeous, if you ask me. That is gorgeous. Ooh, there's a paperback for Homegoing. Homegoing is supposed to be real great. There's a hardcover coming out for The Handmaid's Tale. I would get it if I actually liked The Handmaid's Tale. Richard Rousseau is coming out with a new book. Wasn't really big on Empire Falls. Annie Proulx. Is Annie Proulx any good? Because I've heard great things about Barkskins, but when I tried to read the shipping news, I was just, it was boring, if you ask me. Let's see here. Colm Tobin, should probably read more Colm Tobin. Commonwealth hasn't been out in paperback yet. I don't know. That was if it wasn't for the Knicks, that would be the greatest book. That used to be like for months. That was the greatest book of 2016, in my opinion. But then the Knicks came along, and I'm now debating on giving the Knicks a 5 out of 5. It was an absolute masterpiece. But Ann Patchett still is a great author. I think Commonwealth is easily her best work. And I met Ann Patchett, and she's a really nice woman. And I got her signature. I have a signed copy on Commonwealth on display. A lot of these books that they're showing is just paperback versions of books that came out last year. Tracy Chevalier. I've heard really good things about the girl with the pearl earring. I don't know. I'm not typing a lot because I'm cooking. Fair enough. That's fine. I know how cooking is. Who? Oh, at first I thought they said The Lovely Bones. There was a book called The Lonely Barber. And at first I thought Lonely was lovely, and then Barber was Bones. I'm hallucinating as crap. Oh my goodness. The Nest hasn't been out in paperback yet? Like Cynthia D'Aprix Sweeney? You know that book, right? You guys know that book. That hasn't been out in paperback yet. What? Huh. Ooh. Claire North came out with a new book. She's the woman that wrote the first 15 Lives of Harry August. I've heard really good things about that book, and she wrote another novel. That's pretty cool. Ian McEwan, not the biggest fan. Hagseed by Margaret Atwood, not the biggest fan of Margaret Atwood. Even though I think she's a good writer, I just think her stories are just kind of eh. Here I Am by Jonathan Safran Foer. I don't know what to think about this book anymore because, like, I loved it when I read it, but then as I went on with my life and read more, it started to go a little more downhill for me, but I still love the book. I think it's fantastic, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just judging on other people's opinions too much. Oh, wow. An annotated version of Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. Woo. Okay, that was definitely my phone. What the crap? Aw. Alright. Yeah, text. Let's see here. What? There is a cover with an emoji on it. I disapprove of that heavily. Where can I sign a waiver to release my anger? Ugh. Hot Milk. That was a book that was nominated for the Man Booker Prize, right? Yeah. Julian Barnes, of course, wrote a new book. He seems to write a book every other year. No way! Dude! Dude! They're releasing all 3 books of the African trilogy by Chimamanda Ngozi Chinua Achebe, which is like Things Fall Apart, Arrow of God, and No Longer at Ease. Those books, I loved Things Fall Apart. That was an awesome book. Fantastic book. I'm so excited. Huh. There's some strange books coming out in 2017, but I'm just happy that I'm the what's it called? The African trilogy is getting a deluxe edition. That series is awesome. I love that series. Just looking at all the fiction books. Why? Because I'm an absolute thing. What? There's so many books. How? Now, I know there's, like, the majority of them are not going to be that good, but at the same time, there's some pretty interesting ones in here. Some ones that seem like they could have some potential. Mainly, I stick with authors that I know or authors that I know I like, but still. Nuh-uh. Oh, dude! We're getting some more Japanese fiction. There's the Nakano Thrift Shop by Hiromi Kawakami. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Any scary books? Anything by Stephen King, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and yeah. Really, and besides Stephen King, I'm not big on horror, but I think good horror is awesome. But I need to read The Exorcist by whatever that guy's name is, and Jaws, the original Jaws book. I've heard those are great. But yeah. But yeah. How long have we been streaming for? 29 minutes. Pretty decent. I hope that White Tears is as good as people say it is, but Anyway, I just wanted to get this thing out there. I think I may just stop right now because I feel like my voice is going away. But yeah, I would go on longer if it wasn't for the fact that my voice was just gone. It's not gone yet, but I can feel like it's getting weaker. But anyway, thanks you guys for just stopping by the live stream. And anyway, yeah, that's it. So anyway, I'm MegaManChiefFan, and I'll see you later, guys.